Welcome to the Black Doctor Collective podcast. We as Black doctors are in a unique position. We can change our communities, healthcare, and the world. Of course, we start by changing the way we see and value ourselves. I'm your host, Dr. Shanika Horn, pediatrician and physician coach, travel extraordinaire. I am so happy to have you here and listening. So let's get into it. Hey y'all, remember me? It's been a minute since I've recorded an episode. I definitely have not posted anything since maybe December. I needed a break, y'all. But I was watching Michelle Obama on Becoming, because you know the other trash lady of the White House currently released her little documentary or whatever. And it just made me remember that Michelle is my forever first lady. And so I was watching Michelle Obama talk about her story. And honestly, the stories of ambitious Black women tend to have very similar themes, right? She talks a lot about the fact that she was a box checker. I don't know if you've read her book or watched the, documentary on Netflix, but this is what she talks about. All the way up to getting her a job at the law firm. All through high school, college, she was checking boxes, just following the path that was laid out for her, the path that we know is marked as successful. And I totally was relating to that because I too was a box checker, as I'm sure are some of you. And I was definitely a box checker, I probably am still a box checker to some degree, but not to the severity that I was. And I would say I was like tunnel vision up till fellowship. I think I started to realize something was wrong with the boxes in residency. You don't immediately, it doesn't immediately register, and you don't immediately walk away from a framework you've been following your whole life. I think I kept checking boxes until it was very clear that the structure was just not functional for me and even actively harming me. The thing about deciding to jump off the beaten track is you have to stop using the very thing that is so familiar to you, and you have to create your own thing, your own framework. That means really looking at how you've done things previously and then deciding what's important to you now and going forward and what you need in your life to support the dream, right? Like you have this vision of a dream and you're like, it requires this amount of money, this amount of PTO, in order for me to be at the Maldives in an overwater bungalow. Okay, yeah, that's oddly specific, but you get my point, right? When you have a vision, you have to figure out what are the components you need to make that thing feasible. And sometimes when you are just a box checker, you're not thinking about the dream and you're not thinking about what it takes to get there, or you don't even think that those things are possible. So I feel in the past several months, maybe in the past year, probably all of 2025 for sure, the current event of things, the day to day, it's really gotten to the point where I've almost reverted to checking boxes just to feel okay, like at baseline. I think everything is not okay in the world. And so I've retreated back to old systems that I thought worked for me, things that made me feel safe, things that felt sturdy and reliable. And what is safer than a checklist? Okay. What is more satisfying than being like, now, thankfully, in my case, my checklist is modified, right? It doesn't look anything like the checklist I would have made in training or even at the very beginning of becoming an attending, because I've done so much restructuring. I've restructured what works for me and what doesn't. But I do think even in checking boxes of this modified checklist, there's still so many things that do not work for me and that I need to reevaluate. And so that's where I have been. I had filled my time. I think if you listen to the podcast from the end of December 2025, you will hear me talk about I was struggling, right? I'm trying to figure things out all the time. Things change, your needs change. And if you're not evaluating that, you will end up in a place that doesn't meet those needs, or the place that you're at will continue to morph and chip away over time and give you less and less of what you thought you needed or what you initially signed up for, right? I had also filled my schedule with all kinds of work. I was podcasting, I was running the full coaching program, a medical director as a clinic, I was mentoring students. I was doing to the point where I didn't even have time to think. I didn't have time to reflect. And I knew that my needs were not being met, but I didn't have time to think about, well, what is it that I do need and how do I create that? There was not even space in the day for it. The days that I did have off, because I had time off, I was just so tired. All I wanted to do was sit and veg out. I didn't want to be planning and moving and shaking. So if your day is full with work to the point where all you want to do is mentally relax, then you get stuck in the cycle, right? Nothing changes, nothing improves because you haven't created the space to be creative and you are tired and you just keep repeating and you keep saying that things need to change, but not having the bandwidth to change it. I think also I really stopped doing things that let me feel inspired. A lot of podcast episodes, sometimes when I was coming up with them, were based on like fascinating books I was reading. Like right now, I stopped to watch Michelle's Becoming, and that's what triggered this for me. Like watching Beyonce's documentary or listening to certain podcasts. Like there were things that I was doing that were nourishing my mind, that were inspiring me, that were letting me think about what I wanted, right? That were triggering me to really be thoughtful. And I had stopped doing that. I wasn't seeking those things out like I had previously because, again, I was just exhausted. I just didn't have the bandwidth. Thinking takes a lot of energy. I think people forget how much energy your brain consumes. It is the number one glucose absorbing organ in your body, right? For a reason. Like thoughts are exhausting. And so I started only seeking out things that allowed my brain to rest, that things that made me feel okay, things were funny, like a lot of doom scrolling, or not even doom scrolling, like pointless scrolling. Like I watched a lot of pet videos, funny pets, pet animals doing weird things, animal voiceover videos, people doing funny skit pranks, right? You become this person that is just watching the rest of the world be creative because you don't have the bandwidth to be creative or to do the things that fuel creativity. That's how I feel. And I like being creative. So this is not a knock. If you're not a creative person, it's not your jam, no problem. But for someone like me who enjoys actually doing creative ventures, right? Like I enjoy making bullet journals, I enjoy planting, I enjoy art and music and dance and like all these things. I enjoy podcasting, talking to you guys. I need a creative outlet, and the creativity only happens when I'm not fully worn the heck out. Even in my hobbies, like I felt like my hobbies even have become unhealthy, and I think they still are. Like I'm about to give up buying plants for Lent. Oh, my stomach is grumbling so loud. I hope y'all can't hear that. But if you can, excuse her. She's rude. I got into plants sometime over the summer. And if you follow me on Instagram, I went to a plant convention. I didn't even know that was a thing until this year. I was going to plant swaps in and around New York City, really getting into like growing plants, different types, learning about plants. And botany is science, and I'm a science junkie. I'm a knowledge junkie. I love to learn. I love new things. I've always loved biology, right? So this was perfectly up my alley. Like I learn about things, it feels helpful to the environment, all of that. Except I have way dipped into overconsumption, which is just like supporting the rampant capitalism that is tearing us down in so many ways. Like I went from plant trading and swaps and fun things to like hoarding, right? And to like buying a lot of plants. And I have an order of 13 plants in the mail, y'all. It's February. Ain't nobody buying plants in the wintertime but me, because they freeze in the mail. What are you doing? I realize that these coping mechanisms are triggers. Like, this should trigger for me that I am not coping in the best way, which is why I took a step back from everything. And I think when I feel inspired, when I feel connected to myself and rooted, that is when I'm my best. And that's when I present my best stuff to you all or share with you or connect. Like, that's the best way to connect with other people and to formulate community, is to really honor yourself and cherish yourself and treat yourself well. And so that's what I'm stepping back into for 2026. Despite the chaos and the havoc that is going on in the world, I'm asking myself, what do I need now? What am I overdoing that I shouldn't be? What's not a healthy coping mechanism that I've developed? And I'm not judging myself for it. I can see that it's stepped into unhealthy, and I'm just like, okay, so let me shift what I'm doing and how I'm doing it so that I can still support myself and feel fulfilled and happy and all of those things and not overdo it, if that makes sense. I don't know. Sometimes when I'm talking, it sounds very philosophical in my head, where I'm like, did that land for y'all? Does that make sense what I'm saying? So I hope it lands. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot more to say. I think having this break has been really helpful for me. I already have my next episode written out, y'all. I haven't had that in a long time. Like, I was struggling to even find things to say. I was struggling to feel relatable or struggling to be in community. And that's not a great place to be or to create content from. And I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to be pushing myself just to create content just for content's sake, because why? There's so many people doing it. You could watch something else, right? Like, why am I forcing myself? So yeah, I might be slowly dipping my toe into coming back. I don't even want to make that commitment yet, because I don't know. Like, maybe this motivation is fleeting. Maybe, because the day got a little bit longer, like a smidgen, I'm starting to feel better. I think I probably do have SAD, like seasonal affective. But anyway, maybe things are turning around. I'm just starting to feel the icicles melting. And yeah. So anyway, I'm happy to be here. If I just did a podcast recording with another podcast host, I think I'll probably try to do a couple of those just to still share a message that I think is so deeply important for us doctors, like learning how to negotiate, how to self-advocate, how to take care of yourself. I still want that message to be out there. So maybe I'll do some additional episodes as a guest on other people's podcasts. Maybe I'll do it here. I'm going to figure it out. I'm not going to do what I did before, which was feel restricted in a business I created for myself because I was basing it off of other businesses that I've been in that led me to burnout. I don't ever want to do that. So anyway, I hope y'all had a good new year. I spent mine in Ghana because I hate winter and I love my boyfriend. So that's where I was. And I had a good time and I rested. I actually rested. I didn't do like a million things. So yeah, I'll share those pictures on Instagram. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm sure whatever resolutions we came up with are out the window by now, but I want y'all to just think about what you want right now, what you need right now, what's settling your spirit right now, what's settling your nervous system right now, because every day feels worse than the day before. 2026 came in, we told it not to touch nothing, and it came in like a bull in the china shop. So yeah, I hope you guys are okay. Please reach out to me. Some people have been reaching out and checking in, and I've been doing little like video chats with people, and it's been really nice. So if you're down and you miss me, I miss you too. Message me. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast. And what I want you to do next is link us everywhere you can. Instagram at The Black Doctor. Just become part of our collective. I want you here. Thanks. Until next time. Bye.